welcome to episode 15.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to Who Did That Voice, where we take an in-depth look at voiceovers.
Are you ready to plan your next vacation getaway? Then I recommend using 3D Travel Company. They are more powerful than pixie dust, more fantastic than flu powder, and they never charge a fee. Whether you're booking a Disney or Universal vacation, a relaxing cruise, or a luxury trip overseas, you'll experience concierge-level service unmatched by any agency. From the moment you submit a complimentary quote request or inquiry on their website at www.3dtravelcompany.com, you'll find out what it means to be pampered by the best in the business. That's 3, the letter D, travelcompany.com. And tell them Trenton sent you.
Welcome to Who Did That Voice, the show where we take an in-depth look at voiceover. And now, here's your host, Trenton Larkin.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today's special guest has had some very unique opportunities in his voiceover career. He's had chances to voice for different greeting companies, such as the American Greetings Company, and voice and sing different characters that you may have opened up in a card and heard talk or sing to you. Another amazing opportunity our guest today has had has been to voice characters from different toys that have been launched by Star Wars, Hasbro's Transformers, and so much more. Speaking of Hasbro, one of the newest toys our special guest has done is Fortress Maximus, one of the largest toys to date, if not the largest, that Hasbro has ever released in a Transformer. Here's a short clip of our special guest.
Fortress Maximus!
Our special guest has had the opportunity to also voice none other than the toy version of Starscream.
I am Starscream, battle commander of the Decepticon army.
Today's special guest has also had the distinguished honor of voicing our favorite Autobot, Optimus Prime, and the leader we love to hate, Megatron.
This isn't over. I fear it soon will be. Yes. Optimus, you protect the boy. Is the fate of our race not worth one human life? You'll never stop at one. So disappointing. I rise, you fall.
And last, but definitely not least, our special guest has had the opportunity to play the General from the General Car Insurance Company. Recently, he had an opportunity to work with Shaq. Here's a brief clip of that scene.
So, the General can insure almost any car and any driver?
We sure can. For a great low rate you can get online, go to the General and save some time.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Who Did That Voice? Today we have an honored guest, Rick Sellers, with us on the show today. Rick, how are you doing?
I am doing well. Hello everybody out there in Podland.
Well, Rick, the very first thing we always like to do when we start off with a show and have a special guest with us is to just get a little background on who they are as an individual and how they got into their career, such as the voiceover career that you have.
Okay, well, I began my career in '89 as a commercial artist, specializing in toy design. I did a lot of work for a company called TCFC. They were a division of American Greetings. They put out Mad Balls and Ring Raiders and Barnyard Commandos, Strawberry Shortcake and Popples and stuff like that. And I loved doing it. I was pretty good at what I did, but I knew in my heart that my true love, my first calling, was as a character voice talent. And I would do voices all the time around the studio, and eventually somebody said, hey, can you do that for this video, or can you do that for this product? And I said, sure. And after that, I cut a demo, and that was about it.
That's awesome, Rick. I mean, when you grew up as a kid, was that something that you kind of had an idea of an interest in, or?
Yeah, I was a natural minor bird. I would watch, like, Warner Brothers cartoons with Bugs Bunny, Johnny Quest, anything on television I would watch, and I would begin to mimic it. And as I got older, I discovered that my voice was changing, and I was able to do not only cartoon characters, but I was able to imitate celebrities And that kind of opened up a whole new world. I became an impressionist as well as a voice talent. And the more you can do in the voiceover world, the more valuable you are and the more you're going to work. So for me, that was a great thing.
Well, absolutely. You know, the more diverse you are, the more diverse the opportunities for your jobs are, I'm sure.
Absolutely, including singing. I never thought I would be paid to sing, and I sing all the time. I sing as characters. I do jingle work. I sing on toy product and in greeting cards with audio chips, online content. If you see a little animated e-greeting card, you may see something like from American Greetings. You'll see, you know, a talking dog or a singing gorilla or a cat that can sing or whatever. And I do a lot of that work, and it's really fun.
I bet it's most fascinating to have all that diverse opportunity to be just so many different characters in a setting.
It really is. A lot of times I'll go into the studio, especially if I'm hired by them, and it'll literally be a cold read. They'll hand me 10 scripts with 50 different characters, and I'll have to kind of wing it. And fortunately, I'm pretty diverse, and I can do a lot of different things. And, you know, I can tweak it during the session if they don't like something or they want me to change it, or can you do it higher or lower? You know, that's something that I can do, and I've learned to kind of adapt to that demanding sort of a gig, and it's fun, you know?
Yeah,
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, speaking of voiceover work and the diversity that you've had, in the voiceover industry, you don't have ranks, but I know that you've been actually promoted to the rank of general, I believe.
That is true. For that car insurance racing down, go 1-800-GENERAL now. Yes, I am the voice of the general in the national campaign for the General Car Insurance Company, so it's pretty cool. And recently they have signed on Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, as part of the campaign. So you will see the general interacting with Shaq in the new television and radio spots. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
That had to be most fascinating because I believe you guys are actually, I don't know if you have, but y'all are going to physically work together to play off of each other, I believe. Is that correct?
We are going to, on the 23rd of August, I'll fly down to Atlanta, and we will film the next two television spots at Turner, where Shaq is. And so I'll get to meet him, and I won't be on camera with him, but I will throw him the line so that when he can respond kind of more naturally to the lines as I do the general stuff. So, it'll be a fun back and forth, and, it'll be cool.
Absolutely. And don't forget to make your wishes with him when you get there, okay?
Okay, definitely won't.
Shazam.
Shazam. Oh. By the way, I noticed, but in the new spots, the Penguin is out of the car and Shaq is in. So that was part of the, he agreed to do this, but he wanted to ride in the red car with the general at the end of the spot. So he's in. Penguin's out.
That is hilarious. That'll be awesome. I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah, it's fun. They're running now, so if you keep your eyes open, you'll see them.
Absolutely. Well, through all the course of your voiceover work, you'd mentioned working with toys, and I know you've also worked with Hasbro, which is a huge toy line I know I've collected from, and you've actually been the voice of a lot of different things with Hasbro, but especially Transformers, and they just had Fortress Maximus come out, and I believe you are the voice.
I am indeed the voice of Fortress Maximus, the largest Transformers toy to date. And it was a lot of fun to work on. They wanted it to have that G1 1984 animated feel. So I based the character voice on an actor back in the day in the 60s. If you remember Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch in the Addams Family, that's kind of the voice that I was going for that character. And also we created all the sound effects and the music for that particular product. And again, they wanted it to have that kind of Japanese anime sound effects feel that the 84 series had. And so we spent a lot of time creating the retro sound effects for the toy. And I was very pleased with it. I think it came out really good. And so far the fans are digging it. So it's cool.
Absolutely. I mean, that has to be I can't even think of the word. It has to be a crowning achievement for you to realize that you are the largest Transformers toy Hasbro's ever made at this point.
Well, it's pretty cool. I have to say, doing the Optimus Prime stuff, I've done him probably 5 or 10 times for various products, including toy. The newest toy that they have out that I did the OP voice for is Power Surge Optimus Prime. And that's a lot of fun just because I'm a huge Peter Cullen fan. And I was fortunate enough to get to supervise the recording session for Hasbro with Peter Cullen out in California at Dave and Dave Studios. And that was really a treat. He was such a gentleman and a great guy and, willing to go the extra mile and didn't complain. It was a 2-hour session. He had a lot of copy and he ran through all of it. It was awesome. Great time.
That had to be most interesting to work with Peter Cullen. I know he's definitely an icon in my book as well. So. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, the guy's been around for a long, long time, and including he did sound effects for the Predator in the film. And so I'm a big Predator fan too. I wanted to ask him about it, but there just wasn't time. I was on Hasbro's dime, so I had to do what we needed to do.
Wow, really? He was in the Predator? He did vocalization for that?
Yeah. Yep. In fact, I think he heard his voice on it, and he was out of commission for a little while. So he's talked about it briefly, but I didn't get a chance to kind of elaborate on it and find out more. But yeah, pretty cool. If you look in the credits, you'll see his name as voice characterization or Peter Cullen. I'm not sure which, but you'll find it in there.
Well, that's amazing. And to our listeners, see, voiceover is everywhere. You just have to keep your eyes open and your ears open as well.
Absolutely, because you never know who's doing stuff, and it's pretty cool when you find out. You're like, oh, wow, that's cool. I know that dude.
Yeah, that is so fascinating. Well, Rick, I know back during Star Wars The Clone Wars, you actually came out as the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Jango Fett, the action figures that talked. How did that all come about?
Well, I had submitted a character demo to Hasbro, and I think it found its way to the head of electronic engineering on the Star Wars team at Hasbro, and that gentleman passed my demo along to the fellows that were working on the project. And as soon as I had probably 20 different Star Wars characters that I had done on the demo. That was it. They heard it, and they said, we want that guy. So I got a phone call, and they said, we want you to do the voice of young Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor. And I thought they were talking about Alec Guinness. I do both of them. And I thought, it would be great to be able to do Alec Guinness. But now it's young Obi-Wan. At the time that I had been contacted by Hasbro to do the 2 electronic battling action figures, electronic battling action Obi-Wan Kenobi and Jango Fett, there were no sound clips yet available. So I didn't know exactly what Jango Fett sounded like because we didn't know who the actor was that was playing him. And all I could think was Jango is a clone of Boba Fett, or Boba Fett is a clone, so he's got to sound like Boba Fett. So I based the voice that I did for Jango Fett on the original Empire version of Boba Fett, which was done by Jason Wingreen. So if you can hear the toy, if the batteries still operate, it'll sound like Boba Fett from the movie. So you'll hear him say stuff like, he's no good to me, Dad. What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me. So there you go. And it was a lot of fun to do. And, as it turns out, he sounds like Tamara Morrison, who's a Kiwi, and a little different, but it was still a lot of fun. So very cool.
Yeah, very awesome that you got to play those 2 characters, 2 very iconic characters for people who are Star Wars fans for sure. So.
Oh, yeah. For me, I was a Star Wars kid, so I saw the original 1977 Star Wars film in the theater 13 times. So I was a huge fan, and looking forward to more Star Wars films and more toys. So it'll be cool.
Absolutely, more opportunities in the days ahead with all the new movies coming out.
Absolutely.
Well, as far as advice goes, what kind of advice would you give to someone, Rick, who is interested in potentially pursuing a voiceover career?
Well, I think I spoke to you a little bit about this. It is a difficult field to break into. You have to be really, really determined,
very persistent, and you have to believe in your talent. And initially, you're going to hear a lot of no's, a lot of no, thank you. But if you keep pushing and you get the right demo and refuse to give up, you'll find work. And if you're talented, you're going to work a lot. So that's how it goes. You just have to just kick and scream and push and bite and do whatever you have to do to make it, and never give up.
Absolutely. Just keep persevering.
Absolutely. And if anybody out there is really interested in finding out more, you can always email me. I will be happy to chat with you and point you in the right direction or give you as much help as I can and see what happens. It's ricksvoice@aol.com. It's pretty easy. I'm super cool to work with, so shoot me an email and I'll help if I can.
Well, thank you for sharing that with my listeners. I'm sure they will definitely reach out to you if they have those questions. Do you have a website as well in which people could reach out to you in that way or contact you for voiceover work if needed?
Sure. And they can also see various examples of product. There's a lot of audiobook products on my website, a lot of toys, a lot of commercials, clips from different films that I had to recreate where I was hired to voice match all the characters from the film. It is richardsellers.com. It's one word, Richard, RICHARDSELLERS.com. And again, if you reach out to me there, I'll get back to you as quickly as I can, and if I can help you, I will.
Well, I appreciate you giving that information out for people. I know there are probably a lot of people that will listen to this show who are interested in voiceover just because it's a passion, and some who may be more career-minded. So, being able to ask industry professionals questions is definitely a very special thing. I know being able to reach out to you and the others that I've spoken with on the show, it's an honor and a pleasure for me because I'm able to learn and share what I learn with others who will listen to this show.
Great. Well, I'm all about helping other people, and I'm happy to do it.
Absolutely. When we were talking about the American greeting cards and everything, I believe there are a couple characters that you do who are actually a couple of my favorite. You do Scooby-Doo and Starscream, I believe, as well.
Yes. They're for two different companies. This is all for licensed product for American Greetings. So they'll do card lines that are paper cards with a chip in them that you can record on, and it has a tiny speaker in it. And if you open the card, it will play music, or it'll play sound effects, or it'll play the character voice. In the case of the Scooby-Doo stuff, that's owned by Warner Brothers. That's you'll hear Scooby or Shaggy or Scrappy or whomever they have paid the license for. So, it's a lot of fun to do. And or
Hi, Uncle Scrap. Hi, Uncle Scooby.
So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And Starscream is, I do mine based on Chris Latta, who is the original voice of Starscream and my favorite Starscream voice actor. So,
I am Starscream, battle commander of the Decepticon army.
Excellent, man. Those are two of my favorite characters, Scooby-Doo and Starscream, and to be able to hear you do those so amazingly well, man. And it's an honor to hear those voices.
oh, thanks, man. I get to do a ton of different characters, so it's always fun. It's always unique, and especially if you get to do a famous cartoon character, Tweety Bird or whatever.
Oh, I saw Tweety Bird. I did, Tweety. Oh, you bird, come here, you little yellow bird.
All that stuff is just a blast to do and a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, Rick, what is your favorite cartoon character that you like to actually watch and why?
I'll tell you, my very favorite cartoon character would be Superman. Superman was the original superhero, the OG, if you will. And what I like about Superman is he is a bright and shining star for people to kind of aspire to be like. He's a good guy. He's always a good guy. He does what's right, and even if it's tough, he does it. And I love the thought of a character that can inspire all of humanity. Being a good guy. So it's cool.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I have one final question for you, Rick, and the question I have is, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
I would say, for me personally, I am very competitive, and for me, it's not enough to be a good voice actor. I want to be a great voice actor. So that's what I would like to leave behind. I would like to have my peers say that guy was good, and that would make me feel good. And that's what I'm all about: being as good as I possibly can be, being great.
Absolutely. Well, Rick, thank you so very much for your time today. Would you please just tell people what show they're listening to and give us a closeout today?
Certainly. We are listening to Trenton Larkin on Who Did That Voice?
My name is Optimus Prime, and I send this message to Trenton Larkin of Who Did That Voice Podcast Radio. Trenton, you honor us, and we honor you. Autobots, transform and roll out!
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, please stop on by my Contact Me page at www.whodidthatvoice.co. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions, I'd love to hear those as well. If you're wondering who did that voice, stop on by our Episodes tab, click on each actor's name for a picture of the special guests that have been on our show in weeks past. Hey everybody, just wanted to give a special shout out today to Ultimate Collectibles and Apparel, located at 4810 East 11th Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, zip code 74112. These guys donated the prize that is being given away on today's giveaway. If you get a chance to go into the store, say hello to Toby Mask and Daryl Herman. They're great guys and they'd love to meet you. Tell them Trenton sent you. Well everyone, that's all the time we have for this episode. Join us next Friday for our next special guest, Townsend Coleman. He has voiced the original Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Tick from The Tick, and he played Rewind on Generation 1 of Transformers. We'll see you next week. Hey, are you ready to win some awesome prizes? All you have to do is like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter for your chance to be instantly and automatically entered for your chance to win.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time for more discoveries on Who Did That Voice.